Hi, everyone. My name is Alina Cooper, and I also have Brian Wyant here with me. I work for Commute Air as a recruiting specialist, and Brian works for Commute Air as a recruiting assistant. So, to begin, I'm just going to give you guys an introduction of who we are and where we work. So, the beautiful person that you see on your screen is none other than myself, Alina Cooper. I've been working in recruiting for about 3 years now. I've worked in all sorts of different types of jobs. I've worked in retail, I've worked in fast food, I've worked in customer service, I've worked in sales. I've worked with catering, so I've done it all. I've worked with all sorts of backgrounds of people, so I've worked with very entry level to very experienced. I absolutely love helping people. I'm very serious about helping people find a job as long as they are very serious about working. I really want to make a difference within the community. I absolutely love helping people, and I really love dogs and cats. I have both at home. And then I'm going to introduce you to Brian. Here's Brian.
Hello, my name is Brian Wyant. I'm the recruiting assistant at Commute Air. I've been there almost a year. I started in last July. My previous work, I was in commercial real estate, property management, and before that, I procured cars, which means I bought and sold cars all over the nation. Last summer, before I started at Commute Air, I completed my degree in organizational supervision and project management from the University of Akron.
Thank you, Brian, for that introduction.
You're welcome, Alina.
So just some information about where we work now. We work for Commute Air. Commute Air is just a small airline. We've been around for almost 31 years this coming August. So we fly for United Airlines. So we fly small 50-seat jets. We fly our passengers to and from the major hubs, which is in Newark, New Jersey, and also the Washington, D.C. area. Before coronavirus really took off, we were one of the fastest growing small airlines. I mainly assist with hiring flight attendants. So what I will do is I will go through their application. I will then set up and do a phone interview with them. If I feel like they would be potentially a good fit, I will then interview them in person. I also have a group of people. We go out and interview them in person. And then once I hire them, then I will onboard them. Brian also assists with contacting candidates as well too, scheduling the interviews. He also helps me with interviewing candidates as well too, and he follows up with the recruitment process, conducting background checks, and also updating the employee record when they begin employment with us. So that's just a little bit of information about where we work. And then what I'm going to do now is I will walk you through the process of how to apply for a job. This is for guidance. Also, make sure to follow up with your tutor if you have additional questions, or also feel free to follow up with me. I will be sure to leave my email information so that way you guys are able to contact me with any questions that you may have. Please don't hesitate to contact me. Remember, no question is dumb. So some people have the philosophy that they're embarrassed to ask a question. Don't be embarrassed. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to be covering the process of filling out a job application. So how to fill it out, when to fill it out, where to fill it out. Also being honest with your application. Honesty is always the best policy in regards to your education, background, transportation. What attachments to include with your application before you submit it, and also the follow-up process on your application. So after you submit it. So what you're going to want to do, I would recommend before you start applying for jobs is write down a list of skills that you have. So if you're good at organizational skills, maybe picking and packing might be a fit for you. If you like stocking, if you're really organized, you can also do stocking. If you're really good at talking to people and like customer service, you can try customer service. And also write down a list of what you have interest in. So what I would recommend doing is looking on Indeed.com to search for jobs that are hiring. You can also go, if you know of a company that you would like to work for, go directly to their company website and search careers. So typically in today's day and age, applying in person isn't as common as it used to be. The majority of companies have resorted to applying online. So it saves for paper. It also helps keep track of everything. That way they don't have to then hire somebody else to process all of their paperwork. When you are filling out your application, you want to make it short, sweet, and to the point with filling out your application. So for example, you want to apply at Swagelok doing picking and packing, but you've also had experience working at Orlando Bread, for example, doing the same thing. So you just want to make sure that you put your responsibilities, don't drag them out, just make it short and sweet. Also, before you submit your application, double check your work. So before you move on to the next process of your application, double check, make sure things are spelled right, make sure your email is spelled correctly. Also making sure that your phone number is keyed in correctly. So you don't, sometimes people rush through their applications. They don't want to put the last 2 digits of their phone number in correctly. Sometimes it happens, of course, but just making sure you take your time, go very slow, so that way everything is done properly. So what I will do now really quick before I touch back on the PowerPoint is I will show you a sample of Indeed. So I go to Indeed.com and I search cashier. So I find the job, or I search, and then I have cashier up. So I have cashier at Home Depot. I have delivery driver, customer service for pizza, for Romeo's Pizza. So what you do is you click on the cashier portion, and then it would take you to the company website. So I would make sure to work with your tutor, or also if you have any questions in regards to applying at a job, feel free to contact me and I will help you through that. Also, Indeed gives you the option of creating a resume. So when you key in your information, it will submit, but Indeed will help you create a resume for what you're doing. So actually, I am in the process of applying for a part-time job myself. So with that, based on my experience, I am just trying to key in on the features and the strengths that I have to help me land a part-time job as well too. So back to my PowerPoint. So when to fill out your job application? You are going to want to fill out your job application when you are ready to start working. So if you happen to fill out your job application, but you aren't really ready to start working, if say for example, if an employer calls you and say, hey, I noticed you applied to our job, but you tell them that you aren't really ready right now, they probably won't take you seriously in the future. Also, if for some reason you happen to you're interested in looking for a new job, don't look for a new job while you are at work. Just make sure that you just set aside time during your personal life to do that. And also, with a lot of applications being online now, don't start a job application unless you know that you have time to complete it. So some applications may take a few minutes, others can take about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the comfort of your computer, or also sometimes they have an aptitude test. They will ask you questions to make sure that you will be the right fit for them. So just give yourself enough time and not to rush through anything. So where to fill out your job application? I would recommend completing your application at home or with your tutor, also at the library. If you don't have access to a computer, ask a friend to use their computer or also the internet. Also, some places will allow you to apply online via your phone. So make sure your battery is fully charged when applying. Now, in terms of honesty, so some job applications will ask, have you been convicted of a crime or a felony, something along the lines of that within the last 10 years. So you want to make sure that you're being honest. I've had plenty of candidates come through in the past and say that they never had any criminal record, and then I'll pull up 6 pages of criminal charges against them. I know people make mistakes, no one's perfect, but you just want to make sure that you're being honest and clear with everything. Disclose everything that you have, whether it be a felony, whether it be a misdemeanor, if it's a theft charge, if it's an assault charge, if it's a drug charge. Some jobs will take you depending upon the charge. It's just as long as you're honest with them. Other companies will not take you regardless of any charge. So I would recommend just looking up, asking your tutor, or also if you feel comfortable reaching out to the recruiter at that company and asking them, hey, what is your background policy? I have a charge from 10 plus years ago. A lot of the time, now don't quote me as this because every company differs. A lot of the time, companies are able to look past a 10-year felony. So say if you have a felony from 1988, or something like that, as long as you don't have a pattern in your criminal history after 1988 and you also don't have repeating offenses, a lot of the times employers are willing to look past that because some people, it just happens to, they learn from their mistakes. So every single job is different when it comes to that. I would recommend just being honest when it comes to everything. So separate attachments to include with your job application. So make sure that you include your resume. So I will be happy to help you out with resumes at a later date. Also, if you have letters of recommendation from previous employers that you've worked for, also previous coworkers. That way it'll help you get your foot in the door of that company as well too. Now, after you complete your job application, you're so excited, you're so ready to get working. Oh my God, I want to call now. Maybe they got my application 30 seconds ago after I applied. I would highly recommend do not call immediately after submitting your application. I would rate around 3 business days. That way it'll give them time. The applications will start accumulating, and then also hopefully the recruiter will have had an opportunity to look at the applications that have been sent through. So I would follow up with an email or call the local employer and ask to speak with the hiring manager. Also, check your email. A lot of employers will be reaching out to you for the further steps in the job process via email. So check your spam section because sometimes the emails can filter through that way if the email isn't recognized through your email server. Also, I cannot tell you how many times I have had applicants apply for jobs and then they won't answer their phone. I always leave a voicemail. Please check your voicemails. It's very important, especially if you know during a period of time that you know that you're actively seeking employment. If you don't check your voicemail, the employer will just pick up and move on to the next person. So please check your voicemails when applying for jobs. Also, keep a log of where you applied, how you applied, if you've heard back. So this can be useful for you for unemployment benefits or also other government assistance that you may be receiving. So I would recommend keeping a log of whether it be on your phone or you can write it on Microsoft Word or write it down in a notebook, just so that way you have a log to show that you have attempted, or also just to follow up and see where you have tried applying for. And that will conclude for today. So I thank you guys so much for viewing this. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, or also feel free to follow up with your SEEDS tutor. I thank you very much, and I hope you are all staying safe and healthy.
Wait, Alina, I have a question for the
Yes.
group. Can you go back a slide? Oh, that slide that you're on right there. You said wait around 3 business days. What does that mean? Because sometimes, grocery stores are open 7 days a week and, fast food's open 7 days a week. What does 3 days mean?
Oh, business days. So a business day is typically Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, does not count as a business day. If, for example, Memorial Day is that Monday, that will not be a business day. A federal holiday, so Christmas, New Year's, that is not counted as a business day. So say if you apply on Friday, you send your application on Friday at noon, I wouldn't follow up until Wednesday at the latest.